Hi, I'm Michael. If you're like me and have a resin 3D printer, at some point you've gone to the CHITUBOX website to download their free software and noticed that it also said something about a Pro version. Well, finally that Pro version is out. So in this video, I'm going to give you a first look at CHITUBOX Pro and talk about a few of the features that make it a must-have, plus a coupon for $40 off. So with this new update, the free version is now called CHITUBOX Basic, and the new Pro version is called CHITUBOX Pro. CHITUBOX Basic is still free, and it has many of the features that you need to do basic part slicing and prepping your stuff to be printed. CHITUBOX Pro is a paid version, and I believe is a subscription model where you pay each year for a license. You can try it out free for 7 days. CHITUBOX Basic is still available for both Mac and Windows. CHITUBOX Pro is launching for Windows only, and the Mac version should follow in about a month or two. Since I'm a Mac only kind of guy, today I'm running CHITUBOX Pro on my Mac using VMware, so if the interface lags a little, that's why. Let's go over a few of the features that I found really interesting in CHITUBOX Pro. CHITUBOX has traditionally supported OBJ files and STL file formats. With Pro, they're supporting just about every file format out there for 3D parts. Now they're supporting a lot of CAD file formats like 3ds, STEP, DAE, and others. So now you don't have to convert your model before bringing it in. And sometimes you can't easily convert it anyway. So this is a real convenience. According to the website, CHITUBOX Pro has a set of powerful and easy to use model repair tools. You can detect and fix model errors like holes, inverted faces, and redundant shells with just a few clicks, saving you from print failures caused by your models. It's true, so these are some of the things that can ruin a 3D print, and it's hard to tell whether or not your model has one of these problems. You can't tell just by looking at it. And of course, when downloading 3D files from the internet, you don't know what you're going to get. And I have had issues with this in the past, so I'm glad it has this feature. I'm going to take a break from the features list for just a minute to show you a little about the interface. At the top you have these tabs: Start, Prepare, Repair, Support, Analyze Measure, and Settings Help. So basically you move left to right through these tabs. Start is where you open or save a project or bring models in, and a project is a term they use for this session of putting stuff on the build plate. You can load models from here. You can also add a printer here, but you can also do it down here where this plus symbol is. Down here is where your printers are, and right now it just has default. Maybe you noticed that I have a new printer behind me. Today I'm using the Epax E10. This is a nice 8.9-inch mono 4K printer. Epax sent this to me to try out. This is the only mid-sized printer on the market that is upgradable to 5K, and the 5K upgrade kits will be available next month. And this is a Chitu Systems-based printer, so it will support some of the more advanced slicing features that I'll talk about in a minute. I've been wanting an 8.9-inch 4K mono printer for a long time, so I'm really happy to have the E10. Let's go ahead and add that printer. Just click the plus, go to Epax, and then I'll pick my printer from the list, the E10. And now we have a tab down here for default and one for the E10. So if I had my plate loaded up with parts and I click default, everything is going to stay where it is, but the build plate changes. So this is pretty good because you can build a project for one printer and switch printers down here without messing anything up. All right, now let's bring in a model. I got this Justice League set from Malix3 Design. A link to his store is in the description. But I do love the Flash, he's my favorite superhero, so let's bring in the Flash's head. When you bring a model in, it analyzes it and can automatically fix problems. And while it can take a minute to do the repair, it does this right inside the software. In the past, you've had to go into another app like Mesh Mixer to fix issues. Now it's built right in. So this is a vast improvement over the basic free version. So now we are in the Repair tab, and we sort of skip the Prepare tab, and that's okay. You can do these in either order. If you bring a model in and it gets repaired automatically, you might do Repair before Prepare. Okay, now we can look at the Prepare tab. And this is where you move models around, set their orientation, and do other model-related tasks. And this now includes model editing. One of the features that I really like is the ability to do some basic editing operations on your 3D model. Again, this is very handy to be able to do these things right inside the slicing software. Split model is a great one if you have a 3D file that has multiple objects in it. This will split them into those individual models so that you can move them and reorient them independently from one another. So this is pretty handy. There's also now a tag feature that allows you to stamp your model with text or an image. You can also do Boolean operations. They show taking a sphere out of a cylinder. I can imagine something where maybe you need to merge two things together but print them separately. You could create that connecting space. You can hollow an object or add holes. And then cutting. This one is pretty cool. I've got this flash statue, and let's say I wanted to print it as a bust. Maybe that's not a great example, but I could slice the body in half and then it becomes two shapes. In that case, I'd delete the bottom half, but I could see using this if a model is too big, let's say it's too tall, you could cut it into pieces and print them side by side or separately. The next tab is support and is of course for adding support structures. So this improvement looks pretty good. I actually don't use supports very much. I try to design my stuff so that it doesn't need supports, but honestly, that doesn't work for a lot of models. And for my flash model here, I'm going to need supports. I also like that all the other models are invisible when I'm adding supports to this one. It makes the interface work faster and it's easier to see what you're doing. Adding supports now has a lot more features. You can use one of the tools over here to select an area and then automatically add supports to just that area. There are also a lot of new tools down here at the bottom to make it a lot easier to add supports and connect them together. So let's say I'm clicked on this one here called branch. You can click this eye here by support setting and it'll pop up a box with options for that type of support. This one's called tree-like and I think it would be good for minis. It adds supports all branching off of one main support beam, so that's a good one. It's not easy to find this, but this little triangle down here is options for your mouse. It's not easy to find, so I thought I'd point it out. And it's contextual, so in the Start tab, that triangle brings up a different menu. Oh, and this is interesting. You can click this X or Y up here and see a cross-section of your part or of your parts. And in the really hard to find category, down here you can hit this, well, it looks like an eject button, but it brings up a menu for this machine, and in there is 4 views, if you want to see that view. You can resize them. And if you hit 4 views again, it'll go back to the single view. And this doesn't really have to do with support, so I'll skip back over to settings for a minute. There's a setting gear here which brings up a whole bunch of customizable options for interface color and other things. Like this is where you turn off volume calculating to speed up your slicing. So I would say this is a vast improvement over the free version. Alright, so I'm not using this option on this print, but this feature looks very promising and I can't wait to mess around with it. Normally, a 3D print has 2 zones. You have the bottom layers, these are the ones that you overexpose so that you get adhesion to the build plate, and then you have normal layers, which is your best setting for that resin at that layer height. But what if you could have more than just 2 profiles? Let's say you're printing this sphere. Where you're going to see stepping the most will be at the top and the bottom. So one way to fix this would be to up the resolution. Print it at 10 microns instead of 50. But then that would take a really long time, and the middle of this print doesn't need that resolution. So the multi-parameter slice option would allow you to still print your bottom layers down here, then maybe at 10 microns in this section where you need the resolution, then 50 for a while, and then 10 again up here. Another example which is more complicated to achieve is to print 2 things side by side, but to print them with different settings. This would require a multiple exposure print, where part of the slice is exposed for one amount of time, and another part is exposed for a different amount of time. So these are the types of things that multi-parameter slice can do. And I haven't had Pro long enough to get very deep into it, but this looks like it has a lot of promise. A quick caveat though, the multi-slice option is optimized for use with printers that are based on Chitu systems. Like I said before, this Epax printer is. So to explain this, the people behind CHITUBOX also make the firmware that's inside a lot of printers. This includes Frozen, Elgu, Epax, FlashForge, some of the Creality printers, and a few others. One way to know if your printer is based in Chitu systems is whether or not it takes a .ctb file. If so, then you should be able to get an update for your printer firmware to make it support these features. At this point though, I don't think the multi-profile feature will work on printers that are not based on .ctb files. I could be wrong about that, but keep that in mind. Okay, so I'm not going to use the multi-parameter slice on this one, so I'll do a single parameter slice and it's ready to print. CHITUBOX Pro has a free 7-day trial, so go grab it and give it a try. But when you do, please go to www.chitubox.com/nerdtronic or use the link in the description. Obviously, CHITUBOX gave me an advanced copy of the app to try out, so it absolutely helps me out if you use that link, the affiliate link down there. Use it. But there's also something in it for you. In the description is a coupon code to get $40 off. So make sure to check out the description of this video for instructions on how to get that discount on CHITUBOX Pro. Thanks for watching. I want to thank Epax for getting me the E10 to try out. I'll be using it in my next video. I've been working on this one for a while. I'm building a little robot that fits in the cup holder of my car, and it has one specific purpose. So don't forget to like and subscribe, and to back up your data. See you next time. I'm not going to see them. Actually, I won't see you next time. You'll see me next time, because I can't see you through your computer, because that would be creepy.